Alright guys, we have ourselves quite a busy night. Well, I guess if you're playing both versions of the game, it's quite an exciting night. Over on the NA side of things, we're getting Saint Quartz, we're getting our free Artoria, or free Herc if you know, that's your prerogative. But over here on JP, we're getting 2 stellar buffs, or I'm assuming they're going to be stellar buffs if the last couple have been anything to go off of. And I do know that is going to be Billy the Kid and Abigail Williams, which I'm a little saddened by because I was really hoping that Kid Gil would get a buff with this one because he's kind of in the dirt right now. He doesn't really do a whole lot, and I think somebody said that we were confirmed to get a 5-star foreigner, but I was still just hoping that MHXX would get something because, well, you know me and my saber faces. Now, as per usual, I've not looked at these buffs, but I did have somebody link me, you know, with their skills already open, so I wouldn't have to go like looking around and being like, is it skill 1, is it the NP or anything along those lines. But let's just start getting into this because Billy is already a pretty decent free-to-play servant as is, can crit really hard, the 50% battery is good, so with it being a buff to his dodge skill, I'm hoping, I don't know if he needs more crit damage, but I don't know, maybe like a quick buff or something I think would be really nice to kind of just help his overall damage. It would also just generally help his quick cards out a little bit, as they could use a little bit of help at only 2 hits a pop. So yeah, as we had over here previously, we had a 32% crit damage buff and an evade for 1 turn, which is not bad. Did not get a cooldown reduction, don't really think it needed that. Let's see, the crit damage got amped to 50%. We love to see that. What does that put him at right now? Because he already has a crit damage buff. Yeah, he's a 120, so he could get up to 170% crit, huh? Yeah, he's gonna be smacking pretty hard. You got Scotty with him. He's gonna be hitting pretty hard. Okay, there's a quick buff right there as well. 30% on self for 3 turns. Gives himself star weight. Doesn't really need the star weight very much as he is an archer, and archers have very high natural star weight, but it is nice that he can kind of fight for the stars if you do have, you know, caster supports around him who also have pretty decent natural star weight as well. So it is good that he does have that at least for the turn. And then he bombs 30 stars. And I guess actually the star weight over here, I do like it a little bit for him because if you're going all in on the 170% crit damage, you know, you're going in on a turn where you have the first skill and the third skill up at the same time, you really want him to get all of those crit stars. Those are your main damaging turns. It's really funny. We were, you know, streaming FGO earlier today, and for somebody like Lancelot, it's very similar, the Berserker one, where I was like, dude, at NP2, my crits are doing way more damage than my NP is doing. Dude, I'm getting the brunt of my damage from crits. And, you know, the same thing could probably be said about Billy, especially when you got 170% crit damage, plus, you know, you're rocking double Scotty, or even just Scotty plus Ruler Scotty. I don't know why you do Ruler Scotty. He's only got the 1 Buster card, but, hey, you know, to each their own. You're really going to want to be getting those crits for that mad damage. This is really nice for Billy. It's not like disgustingly broken, but I think it addresses a lot of areas in his kit, and it's just kind of nice overall. You know, the fact that we get that crit damage rounded up to a nice 50%, which is pretty standard for crit damage servants nowadays. You are rocking generally a 50% buff for 3 turns. That's just kind of the standard we have. And then giving a quick servant a quick card buff, who would have thought would be pretty good. I mean, he's got a couple of hits on his NP, no? He has 3 hits, not the, you know, most amount of hits, but hey, you might be able to get some decent-ish refund back on that. And again, not a whole lot, but it's better than not having the quick buff. I mean, if you are using Ruler Scotty with the extra quick buffs that she provides, you might have some pretty decent refund on this. So this is a very nice buff, I would say, to more free-to-play boxes. If you are somebody with a more established box, you know, you have stronger units, this probably isn't going to affect you all that much. I mean, you'll probably do the rank up and probably not pick up Billy, but again, for the newer players that are starting out and they need a better archer to start off with, I think this is phenomenal. And then if you are a fan of, you know, Western movies and stuff along those lines, you might break out Billy. It's just you probably have somebody that can do the job a bit better, but hey, it's nice. It raises the floor of accounts a little bit higher, and I always like to see that. I like to see buffs for the free-to-play side of things, as I do kind of slant more towards that direction. I've just been playing for a long time. Don't let some things like the NP3 Sanzo or stuff like that fool you. You know, I don't really spend that much money on the game, so I really do like when they buff the low end of the accounts. But this is one that I'm kind of excited for with Abigail. I know it's her 3rd skill, but Abigail is one of those servants that isn't super great right now. She's in a really bad position. I mean, let's just go ahead and look at the buff, because I mean, we could talk about like her arts cards and her NP gain not being super great. We could talk about that. Just overall, her kit is kind of just old, for lack of a better term. Like, it's just kind of lacking in things that you would want nowadays. So let's just see what she's rocking. So originally, you just drain a charge from the enemy and then you apply attack down. That's okay, cool. We're getting a cooldown reduction on that. That is nice. Apply special damage up from buff terror, 100% for 1 turn. And she gets a 20% battery. That's good. Yeah, this is nice. I don't think this is the craziest, but it's good for Abigail. As I was just talking about her kit being a little bit dated, getting this special damage up against terror, which is something she does over here on her second skill, that is this. It's not the stun itself, it's this little clock thing over here. So the idea is that you kind of use her like, say, Summer Kama, you know, think about it like that, where you have a debuff on the enemy, or even Summer Corday, who has the skill seal buff, right? Think of it like those servants that get a power mod whenever the enemy does have a debuff on them. You know, you'll get that additional 100% damage, which will definitely help her out a lot. I'm going to double check actually real quick and see if the damage chart over here actually has updated to show what the numbers are going to be looking like, because they're generally pretty quick on this stuff. And if we could just kind of get a look-see at to where she's sitting. I know that it's kind of orientated really weird, but bear with me on this one. Moves buff before damage. I don't know if that's updated. Just to kind of move over to the side so you guys can kind of see it. Abigail's right here. That kind of looks like it's updated, I think. Because I thought she was a little bit lower than that. But if that's not updated, hey, that's nice. You know, that's cool. You know, that's fine. And if this is pre-update, then, you know, we could expect to see the numbers be a little bit higher. But this looks like they updated it with the power mod. Because keep in mind, for stuff like this, where these power mods are more considered like guaranteed, there's something that you are going to be able to slap on the enemy outside of like debuff resistance or something. They do factor that in so you can kind of see what their damage didn't look like with almost a guaranteed power mod, you know, kind of built in. The only thing though that I'm not a big fan of though with it is that it's only for 1 turn. I understand that this you know, might just trigger immediately and then you might just lose it, you know, but it would have been nice that, you know, if you had it synergized with, like, you know, I don't know, just other terror buffs as well. You know, there are other characters you can bring that can inflict terror on the enemies, and you could take more advantage of this buff, because it does only last for 1 turn on a 6-turn clock, so you're not getting it back very frequently. But maybe it's a bigger deal that she's getting the 20% battery. Maybe you can use her in some multi-core comps, and if you're newer, that's essentially, you know, you have a single target and an AoE to get through stuff like specific 90+ or even 90++ nodes, where if there's like a 3-1-1 node, right, you have your AoE take care of the first node, and then your single target takes care of the 2, you know, singular enemies that are going to be on waves 2 and 3, or however the wave is going to be kind of situated, you know, however they situate it, that's, you know, how you're going to be able to take care of it. You know, you use the multi-core for that, and so maybe she'll be good for that. Free damage on them, like, that's not bad. And then especially if you want to use it for, say, trash mobs that usually don't have the highest debuff resistance, this is probably more guaranteed to stick. Plus, she gets some with defense down, you can actually take advantage of this. It's not bad. It's not a bad buff. I'm sure some people will kind of look at it and be like, kind of mid, but it's fine. It gives her a little bit of utility in the fact that she has a 20% battery. And don't forget that she's also charging the entire party's battery over here by 10% every single turn, which is really nice with this other 30% battery. So she could be pretty nice for those. I need to see if this is actually the updated damage number or not. Because if this is it, I mean, that's still fine. But if it's higher than this, that actually might be a big deal. But I'm pretty sure this is right here the updated number, because they are lightning quick at updating these things. I mean, I swear the thing comes out minute 1, and whoever is running this just bolts onto here and just updates the calculations, you know. So if it's a little bit higher than that, then I think it will be a little bit more impactful. But aside from that, she's just going to be more decent in multi-core setups, or you can use her as a boss killer now, and she can more consistently get to her NP. She can go through turns of burst damage. I think that's fine. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think her buff is okay. It's not as busted as some of the other ones that we saw, especially kind of the shift that is Iskander now being a, you know, pretty meta buster looper right now. But Billy the Kid I'm also very happy with. You know, again, this is very good. It kind of raises the floor of the, you know, strength of accounts, you know, when you get into the game, which I think is always good to do during anniversaries. You know, you have a lot of new players coming in, so make some of these lower rarity units just a bit better so, you know, people have more options to use. So with that being said, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace, late guys.